This video is for holes number 3. I'm looking at the sketch tools. We're going to use a circle. We're going to use the point tool, which we haven't used a whole lot, and a circular pattern within a sketch. We're also going to be editing what's going on here. And really the tool we're mostly focused on is the hole tool right here. So I've got my first plan. I'm looking at the overall disc. The outside diameter is 4 inches. The points are all going to be at 2.5 diameter all the way around. This is going to be a circular pattern that we're going to do. And the extrusion itself is going to be 1.5. So first I'm just going to make the disc. Go ahead and pick a plane. You can pick any plane you want. I'm going to go ahead and create my circle, and this is going to be a diameter of 4. We're set there. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly finish the sketch and extrude that a distance of 1.5. Now I'm going to start another sketch on here. I could have done this in the same sketch as before, but I prefer to use it in another sketch right now. And I am simply going to put a point directly above the origin at this distance. Really quick, I'm going to put a vertical constraint between the point. So point is here in the sketch between the point and the origin. And then I'm going to use a dimensional constraint to get the right distance. Now the diameter is 2.5, so the distance between here and here is 1.5. So this distance is going to be not 1.5, excuse me, 1.25. Now I can do a circular pattern of that point. So the geometry I'm going to select, circular pattern in the sketch, is right here. The geometry is the point. The point that I'm rotating around is this point here. And you'll see it's giving me a number. I want 5 of these. It says for every 72 degrees, which is actually evenly spaced through 360 degrees. So I'm going to hit 5. It looks like the geometry didn't get selected. There we go. Now it's selecting my geometry. You'll see points are popping up. I'm doing 5 of them, and I will click OK. So now my sketch is set. We're able to go use the hole tool. So within the hole function, we have to do a center point for each hole. That's what's happening here. Now as I go through, we're going to end up creating different style holes. These are holes for bolts and threads. But I want to show that we have different settings. We're going to be using each Inventor 2018 menu to do each hole. So the first hole is a through hole. It doesn't really matter where you start. What really matters is that you do each one. I like to start here and work my way around. It's what I prefer to do. You can set the orientation in any way that you would like to do this, but I'm going to use a 3D view in this case. My Inventor menu for a hole is right here. Notice we've got this dialog box. In order to do this, what we're going to come up and do is we're going to go Modify, Hole. Notice it wants many different centers. I'm going to hold down Control and deselect the ones that I don't want. So in this case, I only want this hole. Here's my dialog. I'm reading the dialog here as well. I've got a drilled hole, simply like that. I want a through hole at a width of 0.25. So my width is 0.25, but instead of a termination being through all, or excuse me, instead of a termination being distance here, we're going to make that through all. Everything's going to be straight, and I'm going to click OK. We're going to go back to the hole command. We need to do the following though. First, expand the hole command, share sketch to. Right click, share sketch. Modify, hole. Again, deselect the ones that you're not going to use. I'm going to scroll down in the assignment, find the Inventor 2018 menu. Okay. This is a counter bore. We have these values here. So we're looking at the outside diameter, or the inside diameter of the hole being 0.375 through. The counter bore is 0.75 diameter to a depth of 0.25. So within this process, taking a look at counterboard right here, I'm going to bring back my dialog that I got rid of here. There we go. It's active now. So this hole, I need to select counterbore. I can now add in the proper dimensions. This is 0.75 to a depth of 0.25, and the hole width is 0.375. My termination is through all, and I have my proper point right there. So I'm going to go ahead and click apply. Last time I clicked OK. This time I hit apply, because we can stay within the hole command without exiting. I'm going to deselect the ones that I don't want by holding down Control and clicking those points. Next one is a countersink. As I expand the inventor menu, again, this dialog box is more active when we can actually be in it. My countersink is right here. It's the angle. We're going to do a 0.75 countersink with 82 degrees, and this time it's still 0.3. Let's double check our plan. Yeah, 0.375. So they have an error on the website. It says 0.5357. It's actually 0.375. And this is still set properly. It's through all. I'm going to hit apply. Our next one is a tapped hole. This has threads. So this is a type of hole that gets made so you can put a screw into it. I'm going to expand the inventor menu. Hold down Control to deselect. And now I'm going to go ahead and do a tapped hole. So, tapped hole inventor menu first is going to use the drilled hole. And then the other setting that we're going to do here is we're going to pick the one with threads. So instead of giving a diameter, we're going to choose threads, and you will see here in a moment it's going to load up. It's going to load up the type of threads down below. Takes a moment to load all the different possibilities for threads in this. But as that's loading, we're going to take a look. We're going to do the ANSI, which is the American standard for units. ANSI screw threads. The diameter is going to be 0.25. The class is 1B, which is a style of thread. And the type of screw is a 1/4-20 screw. So we have the proper screw threads. The size is 0.25, so I'm going to click 0.375, scroll up and choose 0.25. 1/4-20 doesn't need to change. And finally, the class is 1B. The direction's already set. We're going to do a full depth screw on that. Hit apply. We have one more hole for this, a clearance hole. We're going to expand the inventor menu. Make this active. Now I still need a drilled hole. We're going to go through all, but I'm going to pick clearance hole right here. So I'm going to pick that right there. It's going to change the type of fastener. A clearance hole is meant for a bolt to slide through without any binding up. So if you had a hole in an item and you needed a bolt to go through there, you would want a clearance hole so that bolt can pass through easily, that you don't have to pound it through or hammer it through. And then you're able to add a nut on the other side to clamp or fasten something together. We're going to do a hex head bolt. So we're going to use the drop down. It's going to be a 1/2 inch. Right there. And the fit is normal. Any other things taking a look at? It is through all, and it is 0.531 by default, because that allows that bolt at a 1/2 inch to fit through. And now I can finally hit OK. That's the final hole for the holes process. This is number 3 holes. Go ahead and submit your work when you're done.